Hello dear participants, I welcome you all here in this lecture number 22 today. Title of lecture 22 is Descriptive Statistics, Meaning of Dispersion Values. Objective of lecture 22 is to make you familiar with the meaning of dispersion and the meaning of its different measures like range, quartile deviation and standard deviation. So let me start with the meaning of dispersion. What is dispersion? So it is a degree to which numerical data tend to spread about an average value. So it is a spread, it is a spread from the mean. It is average spread from the mean that is known as a dispersion. In other way around, a statistic that indicates the distribution's variation. So what is the distribution? This is a kind of a distribution, and in this distribution we are having a particular mean. So how much the other values vary from this mean, that is the dispersion. To understand it in a better way, let me explain you one example. Let me show you one example. So here is a sample data set, and this sample data set been taken from the previous lecture where we computed central tendencies, where we have seen the meaning of central tendencies. That this sample data set been taken from that particular lecture. So here are the 4 students, and these 4 students have earned different marks in these 6 subjects, and we have computed arithmetic mean. Now the marks earned by all these 4 students in each subject, those marks, that distribution is not same, but when we computed arithmetic mean, the average marks earned by all these 4 students are same. So all these 4 students have earned average 60 marks. Now, if we look at carefully here on the graph, the charts, here all students have earned same average marks, arithmetic mean is same. But look at the distribution. The distribution, what I mean to say, distribution means the plotted circles. Here in case 3, that student have earned means extremely high marks in 3 subjects and extremely low marks in these 3 subjects. If I come to case 4, here that student have earned exactly same marks like its average here. So here each distribution is different. Now what is dispersion? Dispersion is simply that the gap or the distance between the arithmetic mean and the marks actually earned by that particular student. So the gap between average and the marks earned by that particular student. If we look at the chart here, the distance between this 60 arithmetic mean and the marks earned by this student, this distance is very high. Now, if I compare this distance with the distance here in the case 2, where the arithmetic mean is 60, and this distance will be definitely less than this distance. Here in case 1, again look at the distance. Distance of what? Distance between the arithmetic mean and the marks earned by that student. Then using some particular statistical formula, we compute a particular value. That value represents us that how much is the average distance between the arithmetic mean that we have computed and the actual marks earned by that student. Now here in the case 4, you can see that is there any distance? How much is the average distance? Because in each subject that student have earned 60 marks, and here the average is 60, so there is no distance. Here the dispersion is 0. Here is some dispersion is there. So how much is the dispersion? That we need to find out, and that's the meaning of dispersion. So what is dispersion? Dispersion is simply, it is a degree to which the numerical data tend to spread about an average value, and that is called the dispersion. Dispersion is also known as a variation of the data. Suppose here is our data, here is our mean. So how much spread is there? When we compute this spread, that is called dispersion. Fine. So there are different measures of dispersion, out of which the important 3 measures that we'll highlight here in this lecture. We'll try to understand the meaning of range first, then we'll try to understand the meaning of quartile deviation, and then we'll try to understand meaning of standard deviation. So let me start with the meaning of range. What is range? Range is the simplest measure of dispersion. Range is the difference between the largest and the smallest value in the data set. Suppose I'm having a data set. So first I'll have to find out the max value and min value, and then I'll have to just find the gap between these two. And what's the formula? Formula is very simple. Range is equal to max minus min. Largest value minus minimum value. Now to understand it in a better way, let me take you all to one example. Here is a sample data set, and here are the share prices that we have recorded for different 10 days. Now first we'll compute max, then we'll compute mean, and then we'll compute range. There is no specific function or a formula available in the MS Excel. So what we'll do here in range, we'll give equal to sign max and min, this formula that we'll use here. So let me compute max and min here. The process part, how to compute max and min, that already we have discussed somewhere in the previous lecture. So we'll not spend much time here on the process, because here we will try to understand the meaning, how to give meaning to all these numbers. Fine. Now for range, simply I'll give equal to sign, then I'll click on this cell where the max value is there, then I'll put the minus sign, and then I'll click on this cell where the min value is located, and then I'll get the range. Now how to give meaning to this value? What is the meaning of range? So range is nothing but, here is our max value 210, here is our min value 130. The gap between these two numbers, two values, is 80. Fine. So there is the gap of 80 rupees. Fine, 80 rupees. So that's the meaning of range. That's the meaning of range. And as it is mentioned in the earlier slide, that extreme values affect the range. If here is one number like 1000. Suppose here is the 11th day where the share price shoot to 1000 rupees. Then this gap would be 1000 minus 130. And whatever the number will appear here, it means extreme values affects the range, because in range we are going to consider only extreme values like min and max. That is why we means this one is kind of a limitation of the range, that extreme values affect the range. That is why we use the other measure. Fine. But however, in some cases, in some variable, range is also very useful. Now let me take you all to the second measure of the dispersion, and that is a quartile deviation. But before understanding the quartile deviation, we need to know the third quartile, we need to know the first quartile, and we need to know the meaning of interquartile range, and finally we'll go for the quartile deviation. So let me start with the quartiles. And if you all remember, in the previous lectures where we tried to understand the meaning of partition values, fine, there we already have seen first quartile and third quartile. There already we have seen. So here we'll revise the same part in very brief. What are the quartiles? Quartiles are those three values that divide any set of given observation into a total of 4 equal parts. So here is our distribution. Here is the minimum value. Here is the maximum value. And using these three quartiles, quartile 1, quartile 2 and quartile 3, we divided our data set into 4 equal parts. That is 25%, 25% is here, 25% is here, and 25% is here. Now this first quartile is also known as a 25th percentile, and this third quartile is also known as a 75th percentile. Why it is so? Reason is that suppose if I start with a 0 and if I end here at 100, here is my distribution of data. All the values are there. But when I start with 0 and when I ends at 100, Q1 is the 25th positional value and Q3 is the 75th positional value. This 25th positional value tells me that 25% of the distribution is below this and 75% of the distribution is above this. And this 75th positional quartile 3 tells me that 75% of the distribution is below this number and 25% of the distribution is above this number. That is why your quartile 1 or the first quartile is also known as a 25th percentile, and quartile 3 is also known as a 75th percentile. So this is a kind of a revision. All this part, what are the quartiles and how to compute that we already have discussed in the previous lectures. Now what is interquartile range? Interquartile range is the new terminology for all of you. What is interquartile range? It is a range which includes the middle 50% of the distribution. Where is the total distribution? Here is the total distribution. This total distribution is 100%. But if I consider only the middle 50%, it means I am going to consider only Q3 and Q1. So Q3 minus Q1, the gap between these two is known as a interquartile range. The gap between two is known as the interquartile range. If we are having the outliers, if we are having some extreme values or extremely low values, then interquartile range been used. Then interquartile range been used. What's the formula of interquartile range? Interquartile range is equal to Q3 minus Q1. This is a simple formula. Or in other words, it is the difference between 75th and 25th percentile. Who is the 75th percentile? 75th percentile is nothing but a quartile 3. And who is the 25th percentile? 25th percentile is nothing but a Q1. Fine. Now let me take you all to the quartile deviation. And quartile deviation is a concept where we are interested in. Fine. What is quartile deviation? Quartile deviation gives the average amount by which the two quartiles differs from the median. We already have seen that what is interquartile range? Interquartile range is equal to Q3 minus Q1. Means the gap between these two is known as a interquartile range. But if I divide this interquartile range by 2, if I divide Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2, then what value I'll get? How to interpret that value? Let me explain you. That value, quartile deviation, tells me that how much is the average distance of these two quartiles from the median, this Q2. So the average distance of these two quartiles from this central value, that is median, that is known as a quartile deviation. To understand this in a better way, let me take you all to an example. Fine. But before going to the example, let me explain you the difference between range, interquartile range and quartile deviation. What is the difference between range, interquartile range and quartile deviation? Range is nothing but the difference between this max and min value. Range is nothing but a difference between max and min. And here the extreme values can affect the range. What is IQR? Interquartile range is nothing but the difference between Q3 and Q1. So here is IQR. Interquartile range is the difference between Q3 and Q1. And what is QD? QD is a quartile division. It is Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2, and it tells me that from the central value how far are these quartiles, two quartiles. Fine. So the distance from the median, distance of these two quartiles from the median been represented by quartile division. So that's the difference between these three concepts. Now let me take you to one example. Here is one variable income, and to understand quartile deviation, first we'll have to compute third quartile, then we'll have to compute first quartile, then we'll have to compute interquartile range, and finally we'll have to compute quartile deviation. How to compute this? Let me show you. Here we'll use a function quartile, and we'll select the range and we'll put the value 3. Why to put value 3? Why to put value 1? And all this procedure part already we have discussed in the previous lecture. So those who are not comfortable with the procedure, please first watch those videos and then come to this video. This video is mainly focused on the meaning of these results only, right? Meaning of these different terminologies only. So we have computed third quartile, then we have computed first quartile. Now how to compute interquartile range? For interquartile range, there is no specific function available in the MS Excel. For that, what we do here, simply first we put the equal to sign, then I'll click on this cell, then I'll put minus sign, then I'll just click on this cell, so that the function will be like Q3 minus Q1. Fine. Then I'll just simply press enter. I'll get the interquartile range. Then for quartile deviation, what I'll do? If you remember, what is the formula for quartile deviation? Quartile deviation is equal to IQR divided by 2, or in other way round, we can go like this also, Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Fine, there are two different formulas. They are representing the same thing, no problem. Now if I go further, I'll get the quartile deviation. What is the other method? If I'm going to quartiles, then first I'll give equal to sign, then I'll click on this cell giving the bracket, then I'll put the minus sign, then I'll click on this cell Q1, then I'll close the bracket divided by 2. If I go like this directly without giving the bracket, then it gives us the wrong result. So don't go with this. Always give bracket here when you are computing quartile deviation. Fine. Now let me go to the meaning. Now what is the meaning of all these numbers? Quartile 3 is 42,750. It means this value, it stands at the 75th position in a distribution, 75th percentile value. This value stands at the 25th percentile. Correct. Now, what is the meaning of 18,750 interquartile range? It tells me the difference between these two numbers is a 18,750 rupees. Fine. Now, what is the quartile deviation? What is the meaning of quartile deviation? Quartile deviation tells me that these values, both the values, quartile 3 and quartile 4, are averagely far from the median. How much far they are? They are averagely far, that is 9,375 rupees far from the median. So that distance, the average distance between this median and the quartiles is, average distance between the median and these quartiles is rupees 9,375. That's the meaning of quartile deviation. I hope you understood this. So this is the average distance. This is the average distance of these quartiles from the median. So this is the way that we give meaning. So here is the important note. Quartile 1, first quartile and third quartile, they are the measure of non-central location. They are the measure of non-central location, whereas quartile 2 is the measure of central tendency. Quartile 2 is the measure of central location. So this is the only central location. They are not central location. Fine. Now let me take you all to the next measure of dispersion. Which one is the most popular measure of dispersion? That is the standard deviation. So let me start with the meaning of standard deviation. Standard deviation is free from the limitations from which the earlier methods suffer. If you all remember, range is equal to max minus mean, and quartile deviation is equal to quartile 3 minus quartile 1 divided by 2. In both the cases, we are considering only positional values. Here, minimum and maximum, they are extreme cases. Fine. Here Q3 and Q1 somewhere here, and they are just representing the positions. Now here in the standard deviation, we are going to consider x bar, that is arithmetic mean, and simply we are going to find out, we are going to compute the distance of each x from this mean, and using the formula will compute the standard deviation. In simple terms, standard deviation is the best measure of the dispersion, because here in the standard deviation we consider all the values available, or they are there in that distribution. So it is considered as the good measure of the dispersion. What is the meaning of standard deviation? Standard deviation is average scatter around the mean. What is standard deviation? It is average scatter around the mean. It represents to the extent larger and smaller values fluctuate around the mean. What does that mean? Suppose I'm having this distribution. Here is your minimum value, here is your maximum value, and if I'm having my arithmetic mean here, how much is the average distance of each value that we compute using the standard deviation. That's it. Fine. Now here are the more technical definitions. It is a square root of mean of square deviation from the arithmetic mean, or it is a square root of variance. Variance is also one of the concept. The difference between variance and standard deviation is that in standard deviation we use the square root, whereas in the variance we don't use the square root. But the remaining formula is same. How it works, that we'll see little later. So these two definitions are more technical, but if you understand these two definitions, then that's enough, because the meaning of standard deviation is this: standard deviation is average scatter around the mean. Now to understand it in a better way, let me explain you few important notes. Here are the two important statements. When data points are clustered around the mean, the variance and standard deviation is small, and when the data points are scattered, the variance and standard deviation is large. What does that mean? Let me here draw two distributions like this and like this. Now where is the mean? Central value is somewhere here, central value is somewhere here. Your max and mean are here, like mean, and here is max, here is mean, and here is max. Fine. Now if the data points, if the all these data points are clustered near to this mean, then the standard deviation, here the standard deviation is small. If the data points are scattered, they are far from this mean, then your standard deviation is large. Now how to compute this value is different matter, because the software will give you the value, but when you will interpret this value, then you need to understand the meaning of standard deviation first. That value tells me that how much is the spread of those values from the mean. That is the meaning of standard deviation. Fine. Now third statement, variance and standard deviation is 0 only when every value in the sample is the same value. For this we'll see one example, and there we'll try to understand the meaning of this statement. Fine. Neither the variance nor standard deviation ever be negative. So whenever we compute standard deviation, it will never come with the negative sign. Your standard deviation is always comes with the positive sign. Always it comes with the positive sign. Fine. Now let me take you to the example. The same example we'll use, but before going to the computation or the meaning part, let me compute standard deviation using the formula. Why we are using the formula? For the better understanding of that concept. Actually, there is really no need to remember the formula, because we are going to take help of MS Excel and SPSS. How to compute it manually? To compute standard deviation manually, we'll consider only case number 1. And in the same pattern, we compute standard deviation for other cases also that we can go with. Now let me consider case 1. So I have put all the values. Now what I'll do first? First I'll compute the variation. Variation of what? Variation of this each value. I'll try to find the distance of this value from this average. So again this value, this, the difference between these two values, difference between these values, difference. So each value I'll try to find out the difference between x. X means all these numbers are known as x. Fine. Minus mean. How much is my mean? My mean is 60 here. So if I compute this, you will find that 52 minus 60. I have computed it minus 8. Here it is minus 8. Then I'll just drag it to the end. I'll get the difference. Difference of what? The gap between all these values and the mean, actual mean. Once I have computed this, now if I sum it, if I add all these values, what would be the number? See what I mean to say. What is mean? Mean is the central value that we compute from this distribution. If mean is at the center of this distribution, and if I try to find out the distance of each value from this mean, and that distance, that gap is mentioned here, and if I add all these numbers, the summation of this variation, it always comes 0. It always comes 0. Why it comes 0? Because here you can see that here are two minus values and here are two plus values, and they both represent the same distance. That is why it comes 0. Your true mean, whenever you compute this, summation of x minus x bar is always 0, and this is a thumb rule. This is thumb rule. Now we are going little technical. Don't bother for all these things, because here my objective is just to make you familiar with some technical jargons that we use in the statistics. Anyhow, if you are able to give meaning to all these value, then that's enough. No issue with all these technical jargons. Fine. Now further, what I'll do, I'll square all these numbers. So I'll square the variation. As I square all these numbers, and then I'll just sum, I'll add all these square of variations and I'll get the number. Then I'll use one formula. Formula is like standard deviation is equal to square root of summation small x square divided by n minus 1. This small x is nothing but x minus 60, this thing, correct? And x square is nothing but this part, square of x minus 60 square. Fine. So this is the way that we compute. Simply we put the values here and then we compute 5.65. A particular value, we get a particular value. Now we'll try to give meaning to this value. What does that mean? What is the meaning of this value? But before that, let me take you to the Excel. In Excel, how to compute this? Simply we use the function or a formula stdev, then we select the range and we press enter, we get the same value. If I compare this value with the manual computation, I get the same numbers. Now what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is, my mean is 60, that student have earned different marks in different subject. My mean is 60, my standard deviation is 5.65. It means the average distance of all these marks from the arithmetic mean, average distance between these marks and the arithmetic mean, the average distance between these marks and this arithmetic mean is equal to 5.65. So this is 5.65 plus minus. It means in a different way, my mean is 60 and my standard deviation, that is plus minus 5.65. It means if I add 60 plus 5.65, it means 65.65 is the average highest marks, and if I minus it, then whatever is the number, that is the average lowest mark. But in actual, he has got different marks, higher or lesser. Standard deviation simply tells me that the average variation, fluctuation of the marks on the upper side and on the lower side. So what is standard deviation? Standard deviation, it only simply tells me that the average distance or the dispersion of the arithmetic mean, computed arithmetic mean, and the values here in the distribution is 5.65. So this is the way that we interpret standard deviation. I hope you understood this. Now if I go for case 2, case 3 and case 4, simply I have used a function here. So simply I will drag this function to the end. I will get the standard deviation for all. Now how to compute this, how to give meaning to all these numbers? Here if I look carefully, here the standard deviation is greater than this, here again the standard deviation is greater than this, and this is the 0. Standard deviation is 0. Why 0? Let me show you. Here is case number 1, here is case number 2, here is case number 3, and here is case number 4. Now Here is case number 1, 5.65. So here the average distance, the gap or that dispersion is 5.65. Fine. In case number 2, it is little more, 5.79. Fine. What does that mean? Here 5.79 is greater. It means here the distance, that distribution is more dispersed. The spread is more. That spread of all these numbers from the mean. Spread of all these numbers from this mean is little more. In case number 3, it is very high, 16.69. It means here the arithmetic mean is here, and the spread, the distance of all these values, average value means the spread of all these values, the distance of all these values from the mean, that spread is very high. How much it is? 16.69. And finally here in this case, how much is the spread? The spread is 0, because here all these, they are the means they are showing the same number like average. That is why, if you remember, somewhere I mentioned, if you are having the same numbers, all the values are same, then the standard deviation is 0. And in other word, already as I have explained that if your values are, means if you are having very dispersed values, your standard deviation will be large like here. And if your values are concentrated to a particular number like this here, your standard deviation is less. Fine. So this is the way that we give meaning to the standard deviation. So what we covered so far here in this lecture, we tried to understand the meaning of range, quartile deviation and standard deviation, and I hope that you all enjoyed this lecture. You understood the meaning of range, quartile deviation and standard deviation. In the subsequent lecture, in the next lecture, we'll try to read and interpret the results which we have computed in the previous lecture using some sample data set. Till then, we'll stop here. Thank you for your kind listening. Thank you.